One thing I've always seen with entrepreneurs is whenever we have a new idea, first thing we do is we go run it by someone else who's an entrepreneur. I don't blame the entrepreneurs who fail as much as I used to anymore, because here's one thing that I'm noticing. I'm noticing this about entrepreneurs in general. We have a really hard time telling people that their ideas suck. We have a really hard time saying, no, that's a shitty idea, don't do it, and here's why. Instead, we listen and we ask a bunch of questions. Oh, you thought about this, thought about that. Oh yeah, this side of it's probably a really good idea because you could probably, if you go from this angle, there's a market there for that. And we don't say what we really think about it. And then 30 minutes later, I'm on the phone with you and you're like, yeah, that idea was awful. It's just not going to work. And then we let that guy go forward and start a business. I'm not saying that he needs our permission, but there has to be more, like we as an entrepreneur community need to do a better job of telling people, because we know how hard it's going to be. Like, hey man,
well, I disagree with you on that
sucks.
point. I disagree with you on that because do you know how many people told me, don't get into a business selling single-use plastic. Hey, don't quit your job to go do Steve, have you thought this through? The world's changed. You can't import stuff from China and go sell it to people. And they'd send me these articles about why my business was going to fail. Everyone who's been successful has had people tell them what they were setting out to do was a terrible idea. So I think we have to caveat, even when you go to other business owners, that they might say, don't do this.
Yeah.
But I'm still kind of like, hey, but if you think you should, go make it happen, because you got to blaze your own path. If you're going to let other people tell you what you should and should not do, then you probably don't have what it takes to make it anyway.
Yeah.
And the entrepreneurs who make it have been told no so many times,
right,
that that's that personality that says, I'm going to go do it anyway and prove everybody wrong. And they're probably not going to make it. We're going to be right 95% of the time that business is going to fail.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. You've got some good friends, got some bad friends. You bring a business idea to a friend. Here's how a good friend evaluates a business idea. They look at what your potential is, and then they tell you whether or not this idea is big enough for you to go pursue. Is the problem big enough for you to solve? I brought a $10 million idea to an investor buddy of mine here in Vegas, and you know what he told me? Hey, Steve, think bigger. Think bigger. Don't bring me any business ideas that are not at least going to be $100 million company. Because your potential, you've already done the $10 million company.
Yeah.
Your potential now has to be to shoot for the $1 million or the $100 million company. And I think that that's the mark of a good friend who's saying, hey, you got way more potential than this.